gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bench. I am Rocco Granado from InLacrosseWeTrust.com, and with me, as usual, from WaxPhilly.com is Gary Grube. Gary, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Rocco. I'm doing well. I'm a little bit tuckered out from all the MSL action and all these late nights with MSL action, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, I know. Believe me, I know. I wish we had some of that going on around here. But there's a lot that's been going on in the last week. We're going to get into it right away. If I remember correctly, earlier in the season, you and I talked about this, about a very strong possibility about a certain team moving. And that happened.
Brought it up last summer also talking about how they needed to get closer to the mainland.
Yes.
So that we could use people from Victoria to show up at the games and still have a hope of hitting a ferry to get back home, as well as getting the millennials to the games because it would be downtown, and when the games let out, they would still be able to have their evenings in good old downtown Vancouver. Yeah. And Langley was just a little bit too far to anybody to get to because I knew it took me an hour to get there when I was there.
Right. And what we're talking about is the sale of the Vancouver South to the NHL franchise Vancouver Canucks. It was, from what I'm gathering, a very tough decision in a way. You know, when you run a team for so long and you own them, you really don't want to give it away.
Well, yeah, it's her baby because she brought it over from Washington as well.
Right.
And, made Langley the home. Now, the Canucks didn't waste any time, though, because today they announced the hiring of Dan Richardson as their general manager and Chris Gill as the head coach of Vancouver's no-named team, because apparently the name is changing as well.
Wow. Yeah, and, you wonder if it's going to go back to maybe the Vancouver Ravens.
Yeah, somebody brought that up the other day. I kind of think it's going to be something different, but, anything's possible.
I won't mind seeing the Ravens again.
Yeah, well, like I say, I have a feeling it's going to be something new and innovative because you're going to get the new Canuck brass trying to get something that's sleek enough to try and draw some interest in there. But I think, all in all, it's a great move because now you've hit an entirely different demographic, and I think it's only upside. I think you're going to start seeing good crowds. And again, with Rogers Arena, you have something like, Wells Fargo or ACC, you have an NHL arena. Right. With all the amenities that go with it. And all the TV stuff that goes with it, too, because of the new NLL deal. They all have to get upgraded to HD things, which should be great. It'd be great when we're watching it on NLL TV or whatever they're doing.
Right. And it could also possibly bring different players over to that franchise.
Well, yeah, now you don't have to worry. It's a solid thing. Again, this is the league's mantra. This is what I had talked to you about before. I don't think the league is going to veer at all from this. No. And I'm adamant about it. They're going to be either an NHL, NBA team that has that type of an arena where they're not a fourth-class citizen and they're not in the middle of nowhere. And they're going to have a season ticket holder base to draw from. And don't despair, because just like Colorado, just like Calgary, just like Buffalo, you're going to watch their season ticket holders are probably going to have to purchase a certain amount, if not all of the games, and that'll help fill up that stadium.
Well, they already had their first season ticket holder, and that's Denise Watkins.
Right. Well, yeah, but I got a feeling with if you want to keep your Canuck tickets, you're going to have to do this as a side thing as well.
Right.
2 of them is up to you, but you're going to have purchase these.
Yeah, you see, and I don't think that's right for them to actually have to do that, forcing them to...
Well, it's the same thing as doing seat leasing is what they did in Toronto and in other cities as well. So once you have that, that's your seat, right?
Right.
So, you have tickets for everything there.
Yeah, well, hopefully they won't be doing that in Philly because I ain't giving up my seats to somebody who just watches the hockey games.
That's what I mean. So, but anyways, but whether it's the same seat or different seats, I think Philly's already done it differently by giving you opportunities where you get your seats.
Right.
But as for something like this, where season ticket holder, whether they have the same seats or different seats, I imagine they would have to purchase a certain amount, which is one of the reasons why the league wants to have this kind of coordination, as well as having the arenas at their fingertips that they can get the best dates possible, as opposed to getting a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. So now this is only going to be more fun this summer.
Well, all these people were looking east at something, I don't know what, but the things happened to the west, yeah?
Right. And now we wait to see what the new team name will be, and you add that in with the expansion rosters, the protected list. That's what I was looking for. That'll be.
But now you might have people who don't want to go,
right,
as opposed to wanting to get out.
Wanting to get out, right. You have that being released on July 2nd.
The person who was one of the first to make a comment about how lucky he was to be in Denise Watkins' family was Corey Small.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of humorous, but we'll see. Maybe he stays there. Who knows? Maybe he stays there and takes a couple-hour flight every week.
It's very possible now.
Yeah.
With that happening, but who knows? Maybe he's getting a little taste of the East, playing over in Peterborough, and it depends who they protect, who they don't protect.
Time there because he's already got a hat trick tonight. So
yeah. But yeah, so now, like I said, you add this along with the unprotected rosters coming out on the 2nd, the expansion draft on the 16th, all the 5 combines that are out there. There's a lot going on right now. A whole heck of a lot. There's still, guy we talked about last week, that rumor of Rochester being sold to the owner of the Bandits, and Kurt Steyer's heading up the Halifax team. Marissa and Jemmy put out an article about it, and it seems pretty strong.
I think it's ridiculous. I think there's not a thing in there founded, nothing. You take a look at any of those quotes out of context, they make no sense whatsoever. There's not one team, not one person involved that actually corroborates any of this. I think it's just grasping at straws.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, though. I mean,
well, you can put one on the moon, too. It wouldn't surprise me either, but I don't see that happening either. I just don't see this one happening, and it doesn't follow with the league's mantra, which is what I've been trying to get at for the last while.
Yeah.
There's nothing. If you take a look at any of the quotes from any of the teams, nobody has anything to say, including the commissioner. Nothing. And if you think that they're going to let him take a championship team and move it over there, that's ridiculous.
Well, no, he won't be moving the team there. He would just be heading up the Halifax team.
Well, no, that's not what the second article said. They were going to move that there and then doing other things. Just grasping. That's what that is.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens. But when you look at who the owner would be, it sounds good, but who knows?
Sounds good, but the idea of the second ownership thing wasn't about Steyer's or Pagula or any of that. The whole thing was about Cy owning another one with Long Island and taking advantage of $18 billion is what it was. That's what the whole thing was on that. Because that's the only way the league turns its head on that, is if you have $18 billion to bring into the league. And we're pretty happy to do whatever the hell you want. Other than that, we're sticking with what we're doing.
What we're doing, right.
But I'll be the first one to say, I'm wrong, but I really don't believe it.
Yeah, it's kind of something, I guess we just have to almost like sit and wait to see what happens on that, should it happen. But the other big story that just came out yesterday. The Canadian men's field lacrosse team will be...
And what a team it is.
Yes, they will be defending their title. And when you look at this roster...
It's huge, man. It's huge.
I'm just going to go down the list here, and it's on. You know, if you go to Point Streak, it's right. You know, it's right on there. Their roster, you got Tyson Bell, Wesley Berg, Josh Byrne, Mark Cockerton, Kevin Crowley, Zach Currier, Curtis Dixon, one of the goalies, Brendan Donville, who class of 2016 for Cornell, Matt Gilray, plays for Denver and he just graduated from Bucknell, Latrell Harris, Graham Hosick, Trey LeClaire, Ian McKay.
The biggest name on this thing here, and you may not know it, but Jeff Teat.
Yes.
Jeff Teat has been lighting it up for Cornell the last couple of years. And I believe in 9 games with the junior Excelsiors, I believe he has 66 points or something like that.
Yeah, he's...
just a big thing.
And the last name Teat sounds very familiar.
Yeah, well, his dad is Dan Teat.
Teat, yes.
One of the coaches, and he's going over to Israel as well.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that's a huge move.
Yeah.
Because you got yourself one hell of a field player to go with it. Not just box, but field. In last week, and great guy, really nice guy. And he's starting to fill out also.
Yeah.
And it's just a kid, remember.
And I
look forward to seeing that. I think he's going to light it up big over there.
I think this whole team's going to light it up. I mean, like I said, you're at Ian McKay, then you go Mark Matthews, Ben McIntosh, Brody Merrill, Jason and Jeremy Noble, Rylan Reese, Jeff Snyder. He's the oldest on the team here. Jeff Teat, who you just mentioned, Dylan Ward, Jason Weber, and Jake Withers. That is a stacked lineup. I mean, if they're not favored in every game, I don't know who is.
Yeah, they're serious about defending this gold medal. That's for sure.
Yeah, serious is an understatement on this.
Well, considering all the turmoil and all the hoopla that went on to get it to the stage that it is now, and guys like Jeff Snyder and a few others who hung out and sacrificed everything to make sure it was done right. Now they have an opportunity. And you have a bunch of players who know each other well that don't need a whole lot of practice time to be able to mesh with each other.
No, I mean...
the best possible team going over there under the circumstances.
Yeah, think about it. You got Tyson Bell on defense from Calgary, Wesley Berg from Calgary, Zach Currier, Curtis Dixon. just Calgary alone. Then you throw in Mark Matthews and Ben McIntosh from the NLL champion Saskatchewan Rush. You have Kevin Crowley, who plays the field like nobody, nobody else. He gets his arms extended. He's going to tear it up every single time. Brody Merrill back there on defense. Jason Noble on defense. Dylan Ward in net. Jake Withers. I mean, come on. I
know they don't stand. Not many teams are going to be close.
No, I mean, you had Jake Withers as a midi. I mean, I would love to see him take a couple face-offs in the field game. And then speaking of face-offs, you got Jeff Snyder.
Exactly.
Why even bother having the face-off? Just say, here you go, take the ball, Jeff. I might be jumping the gun on that, but you look at the roster, and you even got Latrell Harris. I mean, come on.
And he's a big kid now.
Yeah. And he'll graduate from Brock University in 2021.
Yep. Yeah, he's only 20 years old. He'll be 21 this year.
Yeah. I mean, the team is just simply...
This is a team that can stay together for a number of years.
Unbelievable.
Most of them are young. Or younger.
Younger, yeah.
So, 4 years from now, it's going to be a frightening thing, too. And I believe that one's going to be in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I read my stuff right.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, you got, like I said, Jeff Snyder is the oldest. He graduated from Denver in 2006. Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Brody Merrill, Georgetown class of 2005. Then you got Snyder in 06. Then you got to go another 4 years So you hit Curtis Dixon, who graduated from Delaware in 2010, and then you got Crowley in 2011 from Stony Brook. And then you start hitting the 13s, the 14s, the 17s and up. So, yeah, this team's going to have a number of good years together.
Yeah.
And, I can't wait to see some of these games that they're going to, show on TV and just see how, how they get, start getting together now. All this gets underway pretty quickly, if my memory is right. In about another month, I believe. This starts off, July 12th.
Yep, they only have a month's worth of practice. So.
You're right, and all these other teams that are in it have been practicing for a while. I mean, we all know what the thing going on, with Team Canada was. They weren't even going to send a team. They weren't going to have a team to, defend the title. With all the talk that was, going on. Now they have one.
They weren't going to have a team, period.
Right.
It didn't look like they were going to have anything for a long time to come.
Right. And actually, they
finally smarter, cooler heads prevailed, and they actually got something together, because that would be a travesty.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have. They have just 3 weeks to get everything in order, because the tournament starts in 3 weeks. Yeah, and it's what do you do? I mean, okay, the coaches are in place, the players are in place. Luckily, Gary, like you said, a lot of these players have played with or against each other in the NLL or are playing together in the NLL. I mean, you look at the Noble brothers, okay, Jason and Jeremy. Jason plays for Georgia in the winter, and Jeremy is with Colorado. But in the summer, in the field game, they're both playing for Atlanta. Plus, obviously, they're brothers, so they'll go ahead and know. Mark Matthews and Ben McIntosh both play for Saskatchewan. Ben's not playing the outdoor league this year, but Mark's playing for the Ohio Machine. Yeah, so they're going to know each other. Graham Hossick on defense, Jake Withers midfield, both Rochester Nighthawks. So there's a lot there. Curtis Dixon, Zach Currier. I mean, come on. There's not really a whole lot to, to worry about. It's just, I guess, the matter of getting back used to the field game a little more and just trying to get the space. But a lot of these guys are doing MLL now anyway, so they've gotten that down too. Right, and I guess maybe it's just maybe trying to get some lines together. Who you're going to have out there. The one they would have trouble is Jeff Snyder hasn't played in a couple of years, right? Really? Right. The other guys have all played, so. Right, well, Jeff's main thing is just, getting the face-offs and, taking it from there. Mm-hmm. But I think the hardest thing is going to be trying to say, okay, we're going to put, these players together at, one time. These are the ones that are going to start. I want this one substituting for this one, and, vice versa, and just trying to get some kind of unity together, where they know where each other's going to be. So it should be interesting, but with this lineup, I don't know. Yeah, it's something. That's something to behold. Yeah, I mean, and that took me completely off guard when I saw it. I didn't think it was going to be that deep. But wow. Yeah, but the what's crazy here is the coaching staff as well. Yeah. Randy Mearns is the head coach. You got Matt Brown, Taylor Ray, Merrick Thompson as assistants out there. I mean, come on. Is this even fair? It's not. It's from top to bottom, eh? It's not even fair here. I mean, I'm saying this from the American side of it, Well, yeah. I mean, Mearns, Matt Brown, Taylor Ray. I mean, Taylor Ray is, I guess you could almost say, I put him right up there as far as coaching-wise, doing a lot of defensive-style coaching like he does with St. Joe's. and he also throws in that offense. I put him kind of on the same plateau as Sean Nadalin when it comes down to coaching.
That's a pretty big, wow.
Yeah, well, Sean Nadalin he focuses on defense with Towson University, okay? And he has always said, and I know you've heard this a million times, great defense turns into a good offense.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what happens with Towson. St. Joe's, the Hawks, the same way. Taylor Ray focuses on that defense, but he has a little bit something different there. He has some offensive scoring punch already there. So that defense just adds a little more to his offense. But I've watched both of them coach their respective college teams, and they're right there on the same on the same wavelength. We know how Taylor Ray played defense. Okay, he was one hell of a tough defender. Sean Nadalin was the same way.
Yeah, Sean Adams was a very tough defender.
Yeah, so you have them both. Well, you don't have them both, but you have Taylor Ray out there, doing the defense. You're going to sit there and kind of shake your head on this. So, and then you got Merrick Thompson, obviously going to help out on the offense there. And I'm going to screw this name up big time. Mark Mayashita. Hopefully I said that right. And then Jason Levesque. Yeah, as your coaches there. So
they get you some French lessons, man.
Yes, the coaching staff is even well stacked. I mean, come on. The only thing I don't see is the trainer.
Probably the one from the Bandits.
Probably.
Probably.
Or it just might be Jake Steinfeld, the Body by Jake. Get everybody in shape that way with him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the other teams are going to look like. I would love to see those rosters in some way, shape, or form. See what other NLL or MLL players that are out there for their respective countries. But most importantly, it's great to see the game. It's going to be in Israel. And I know they are very excited to have the World Championships.
Oh, for sure.
So it should be, it's something that they have been wanting for a very long time. And, obviously they're going to have their team. So we'll get to see, their roster and see how everything goes. Hopefully for Team Canada, there won't be a lot of rust out there, which I really don't see it with this team. But congratulations to Team Canada getting back into this to defend their title. I would hate to see them not be able to defend it. Have somebody else win it.
Glad they sorted all that stuff out. That would be a crying shame.
Yes, big time. And I think a lot of the countries were feeling the same way, that they wanted to see Team Canada in this tournament, some way, shape, or form. To defend their title. I mean, and where was I? Just had it here. Yeah, I mean, it says here the team features 10 returning players that defeated the U.S. to capture the gold in 2014. The veteran national team members, Jeff Snyder, Brody Merrill, they're competing in their 4th World Championships. So both Merrill and Snyder competed in 06, 2010, and 2014. So they're the two seniors in this. Then they mentioned about Trey LeClaire, Rylan Reese, Jeff Teat. They were all members of Canada's under-19 2016 silver medal squad. And then you got college standouts: Matt Gilray, Ian McKay, Josh Byrne, Jake Withers, and Zach Currier. I mean,
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, and then, and the coach says, "Oh, our roster has a good balance of age and experience." Yeah, you think? So they're going to compete. They're going to start getting things ready to get everything kicked off from July 12th to July 21st. You're going to have 46 countries, and the World Championships will be in Netanya, Israel. And it has here that the U.S. and Canada are the only two countries to ever win the men's World Championships, with Canada claiming the gold in 78, 2006, and 2014. So get to see whether Canada retains their title. Will Team USA get it back? Or will we see somebody else? 46 countries. Should be interesting. Now, we covered the NLL, the happenings going on right now. We still have 11 days until those expansion rosters, the protected lists come out, and then we could figure out who we feel who's going to go where. We don't know anything else. Like I said last week, from what I was told by Kevin Crowley and a couple others, is that he was franchised by New England, but there really hasn't been any strong confirmation on it. Brad Chandler, who does the used to do I don't know if he's still going to do it or not, the Vancouver games, the Stealth at the time, came out and reported it, but no other lacrosse outlets have it, stating about Crowley being franchised. The only other one to confirm it was Kevin Crowley himself.
I'd say that's a pretty good source.
Yeah, I think that's a very good source also. So I think it's just a matter of just when everything comes out on July 2nd, that's when you're going to see who's franchised, who's not franchised, and everything else. So it's just kind of a sit and wait game right now.
You think Jake Withers is ready for this tournament right now? Tonight he's 20 for 26 on the faceoffs in Peterborough.
Oh, wow.
Think he's ready?
Yeah. 20 for 26.
This game is wild because it's 14-12 now. Peterborough over Brampton with about 5 minutes to go. Actually, there's only a minute and a half to go now. But every time that Peterborough jumped out to a huge lead, Brampton showed guts and fortitude. And unlike the other day when they just mailed it in, they've actually put Peterborough to a sweat. So still not over. Still a couple more interesting minutes, but wow.
No, I think this is it's over 14-12.
Yeah. Well, the shots on goal are 54 to 39. It's retarded.
Yeah, it's a final 14-12. Peterborough over Brampton.
Still think that's a heck of a game that Brampton put in, especially after the dog they played on Monday.
Yeah.
The only good thing about the Monday one is I won the 50-50.
Okay, won't complain about that, that's for sure.
Oh, hell no, I'll take that.
But yeah, since we did our last show, which was last Friday, on the 15th, we had some interesting scores. You had Coburg beating Brooklyn 12-3. Now, Guy, we talked about... That
was kind of a lopsided, weird one on a Sunday evening because, first off, they didn't have a backup goalie, so Zach Higgins was left to drown out there.
Right.
They only had about half of a bench. Brooklyn did.
And that's because a lot of players have to go home for their regular, as we like to say, their 9-to-5 jobs.
Well, that's it, and you have a good contingent of Saskatchewan Rush players.
Right.
A lot of them didn't make this trip, so...
Yeah, the Brooklyn Rush.
It was a shocker as it was happening, but it made sense. Yeah, the more we looked at it, but still, Kevin Orman played a great game in the Coburg Nets, and for those who don't know him, he's the backup in Georgia during the NLL season. and he gets his chance to shine in the summer.
Yeah, and the thing,
just a fine job. Luke Liskevitz, he's on the practice squad with the Nighthawks, hoping to make it on there, and he's been just tearing it up in this league this summer. And he's had a couple of really, really good games, 3 goals, 5 assists, and things like that. He's one you're going to have to watch out for. He had a great NCAA career, played for Robert Morris as well.
right?
And I believe he led in his last couple of years. He led the team in scoring. He was number 2 or 3 in NCAA scoring. You know, he's a viable player. He's actually playing for the Scottish team.
Okay.
in the Worlds.
In the Worlds, okay. Yeah, because the couple days before, on Thursday the 14th, they only scored 4 goals against Peterborough. So 2 games, they scored a total of 7 goals. That's not like Brooklyn.
No, and in fact, they actually put another loss to make it 3 in a row. 2 nights ago, they lost 13-11 to Six Nations, who had been floundering out of the gates. They won their first game against Coburg and then lost the next 4.
Yep.
Then, all of a sudden, there's too much talent on that squad for them not to mesh at some point. And in the third period, they going into the third period, they given up a goal at the very end of the second period, making it 9-8 for Coburg, and it looked like this was going to be another one of those games. And in fact, Coburg went ahead 11-8 in the beginning of that third period, and something clicked. And the Six Nations team came back and wound up winning. I believe it was 13-11. And they just fired on all cylinders from that point onward, and they ramped it right up into the next night, in which they won again. And this one was a wild one against Brooklyn. Was it Brooklyn? I believe it was Brooklyn.
Yeah, 9-8. Yeah. They beat Brooklyn 9-8 on Wednesday, but the
that was the one that they won 13-11.
13-11. Yeah.
Against Brooklyn, they had it. It looked like they had it in hand, and Brooklyn caught up, and it was 8-8 with just over a minute to go. And then Cody Jamieson with 4 seconds left potted one in there, and they wound up coming out with that win, 9-8. Believe me, the arena, everybody's on the edge of their seats in there. Yeah. I like MSL. I can go catch a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like they're starting to...
It's expensive at that.
Yeah.
For all you people who are talking about NLL prices, it's $10 to get into these things.
And well worth it. Well worth it.
You can bring the whole family, grandma, you can bring 3 dogs, there's seating available for all of you.
But now, the team that you really got to look out for, and they're really tearing it up, is Oakville.
Yeah, this game was a bit of a shock, but really, when you look at it, they made a couple of little hedges over the off season. They've got Ryan Benesh there and a few others in there, and they gave a spanking to Brampton on Monday. They beat them 20-6, but it just kept coming. Nick Rose is looking great in that. Steve Fryer, when he's playing, is looking pretty good in that as well. But my God, this team from top to bottom really is a good team, and Jamie's put together a heck of a team.
The game was over in the first period.
The game was over in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they scored 10 seconds into the game.
9.
9, yeah, sorry.
And then Brampton took the lead, and
really
then that was it.
Take a look at a couple of people who you should be looking for, who's we're going to make some news, is Andrew Q. He's going to make a lot of news. Brad Cree, you already figured he's going to be one of the guys going. I don't know why. Jalen Rogers is doing just what he did over the winter. Dallas Bridle is another unsung name that you don't hear too much of, but man, he's been pretty steady all year, and he had I think 4 goals or something like that in this game.
Yep, 4 goals on 4 shots.
Matt Galen has also been solid in this on this team. And you've got Bill Hochhauser, who's not being an enforcer, but he's a very, very productive player on this team. He can mix it up if he has to, which he did at the end of that game. But again, he still is a very valuable player on a team. You even have Brad Gillies in there, so you have transition.
Yep. It's
it's a pretty stacked team.
Yeah, and they're showing it big time right now. I mean,
well, they are, and it's last year they were just shy of getting past Six Nations. I believe it was Game 7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Game 6 or Game 7.
I think it was 7. It was 7.
Yeah, and just shy of getting past them to make it to the finals against Peterborough. And they're that much better this year.
I mean,
and you still have a few players who haven't come in and played yet.
Yeah.
Connor Fields hasn't played yet. Dan McRae hasn't played yet. Jeremy Noble hasn't played yet. So there's still more to come.
Yeah. Did you look at the score sheet for that game?
Oh yeah, I saw it live and in color, but I've seen the score sheet a few times.
Yeah. Did you take note? Nick Rose had 5 assists.
Yes, I made it very clear in my article.
I mean, 5 assists. I mean, come on.
Yep. Oh yeah. The long lead pass was working well.
Yeah, just a tad bit, But yeah, there.
And then what I talked to you off air about. Then we started seeing the ridiculousness of penalties.
Yeah.
And the absolute overbearingness. And I don't know what in the heck they're looking at or talking about. But, Brad Cree and Jordan Houpie had a little tussle. It wasn't even a punch thrown at 13:30 of the third period. And they were given full slashing penalties and abusive official 10-minute misconduct penalties, as well as unsportsmanlike penalties. That's nuts. That's nuts. If you got that thin of skin, maybe you should sit in the crowd with us.
Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous. If you want him out of the game, give him a 10-minute misconduct. Whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, abuse of an official.
Officials, you would figure they put their hands on him and threw him around the floor.
Right. Or or shoved them or something.
After that, Patrick Miles got tossed for abuse of officials also. 10 minutes. And he had only voiced his opinion. So if that's abuse of officials,
wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Again, give him a regular misconduct. It's not an abuse of officials one. That's retarded. Then we had the Adam Weidman, Bill Hostrauser fight where there was actually fighting. And this is with 30 seconds left in the game. Give them both 5-minute penalties. We don't have to see them until next game. Thanks for coming. Nope. We're going to give them Hostrauser got a 2-minute interference penalty, a 5-minute fighting major. He got himself a 10-minute misconduct. He got himself a game misconduct. I think he got himself, 3 days in jail. Some probation along the way too. It's ridiculous. Adam Weidman, there was a bench penalty given, and he got the same. 5 for fighting, 10-minute misconduct. That a very other one, game misconduct. Then Alex Krepinsak, he got an abuse of officials. 10-minute misconduct seemed to be the favorite penalty of the game.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, there was about 3 penalties called.
Yeah, so I guess the official didn't like the idea of the game being 20-6 about the players, so they figured, let me, put myself into the game.
I'll say if they're trying to worry about keeping a lid on it, give them misconduct. So in this one, just give them 5-minute penalties and send them away. Bye. That's all. Message received.
Right.
See you later. And that's it. Then there's no problem. But, because then you take a look at it, it goes under a whole different aspect when it's reviewed by the League of Abusive Officials. Now, if these guys are going to be serving suspensions or something like that because of it, that's a whole different realm. Or fines or anything else in that matter.
Yeah, well, I think when they go to review the tape, they'll...
Well, you got to remember, it's not NLL. So if there is a tape, I would be surprised.
It should be something for them to review.
A game sheet. We don't even get all the stats in this. We got no face-offs, no loose balls, none of that stuff. It's not NLL, pal. But regardless, even on the score sheet, we had Blair Ferguson as the crew chief, and we had default referee as the assistant referee.
Yeah.
So, that being said, the game, well, it was out of hand. Oakville, they look fantastic. And they're also the only one to give Peterborough a loss this year. And that was a heck of a game back in May. So, if anybody's taken Oakville lightly, I wouldn't.
No.
Their games are Monday night at track, usually. Very worth your while to go check it out.
Yeah, the way they're playing right now.
Yeah. And that being said, of course, they're playing on Sunday night in Coburg, 6 p.m. this week.
Huh.
But the following Wednesday, they'll be in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, Ontario, yo. They'll be in Whitby to play the Brooklyn Redmen, and that's a game that I want to go see. Because I got a feeling that's a playoff matchup down the road.
Yeah, because right now, Oakville's sitting at 5-1. Peterborough is also at 5-1.
Well, they're 6-1 now.
6-1, yeah, with the win tonight. So Peterborough now has 12 points. Oakville with 10. Six Nations and Brooklyn, excuse me, both with 6 points. Both Six Nations 3-4, Brooklyn 3-3.
Now I'm curious with the way Coburg's been playing now. They've got their players back from the NLL. I'm curious what kind of a tussle they're going to give Oakville on Sunday, because they sure woke up the Redmen. Because they're not the pushovers that they were in years past. And Coburg's got a couple of guys that I really like. One's actually a rock draft pick. His name's Darryl Robertson. I brought him up last year as someone who you should look out for. He had some injury problems this year, which is why he didn't make the rock lineups. But this year, I think he's going to surprise a number of people. The guy's quick. He's quick like a gazelle. Solid defenseman. He can easily play transition, but he's listed as straight as a defenseman. Still got youth on his side. I think he's going to be a big deal at some point.
Yeah. And Gary, just like you said, get out, see these games. I mean, it's.
Oh, they're well worth your time.
Yeah.
They're most of them are under 2 hours, and they're very well worth your time. A few small little differences from the NLL rules. There are no over and backs. But generally speaking, you got the same game, you've got the same players, and you're spending a fortune less.
And you have some matchups with the players that maybe they didn't play with each other during the winter, but now in the summer they are.
Yeah, plus you also get to see a bunch of players who are on the cusp or should be in lineups, and they're playing. And they're making a name for themselves. And as we saw in last year's draft, ones who really shine in the summer, their tendency is to go further up in the draft in September when the NLL holds their draft. I give you an Austin Shanks, for example.
Yeah, nobody expected that from Austin Shanks.
Right, but those of us who watched him in the summer knew that he had that potential.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a really good thing to come out and see, especially if you're like me who eats this stuff up and is good at scouting.
Yeah, it's something that I would like to to go out and see, but unfortunately, we don't have any of that here in the States. I gotta lean more towards the MLL, the outdoor game, to get my lacrosse fix, I'll say.
But then again, in the WLA, New Westminster suffered their first loss.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that interesting?
Oh yeah, that was a little bit on the interesting side.
Well, it just shows that they're human, right?
Yeah.
But it also tightens everything up because Victoria's sitting there with 5-2 record, and Maple Ridge is also sitting at a 5-2 record. So this thing all tightens itself up very nicely. Coquitlam hasn't gotten any closer since we last seen him.
No, and Langley is now at 2-5-1, so they're 2 points out of fourth place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they still have 10 games to go. So
yeah, they still have a shot.
There's still a lot of time left in there.
While you're looking at Burnaby sitting there at 1 point out of fourth, it's going to be nip and tuck for some of these things, though.
Yeah, Burnaby. Where was it? Yeah, Burnaby sitting 1 point out of fourth, but last Friday night, after we already did the show, Gary, that game started 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 our time.
Yeah.
New Westminster 18, Burnaby 2.
Well, it was close right through the national anthem. Actually, I think they were down by 2 by the end of the anthem, but
yeah. And that's coming off a 12-11 loss to Victoria. So to say they were maybe a little bit upset,
yeah,
might have been an understatement there. But yeah, before that, I mean, you had.
But we had a tie with Langley and Nanaimo the other night.
Yeah, 9-9 overtime tie. Yes, WLA, it can end in a tie.
Yeah, same thing with Emma.
Yeah, they actually play the full amount of the overtime.
Yep, that's what they do in MSL as well.
It's not it's not sudden victory.
Nope.
You play the 10 minutes or whatever it may. Yeah, I believe it's 10 minutes.
It's a 10-minute overtime.
10-minute overtime. Yeah.
Second one, when you're in the playoffs, if you're still tied after the first full one, then it becomes sudden victory in the second one.
Right.
But the first one is played fully.
It's always full. It's a full 10-minute. And regular season, if you're still tied after that, it's a tie.
It's now a tie.
And like Gary said, then in the playoffs, you go to a second overtime, and that's the sudden victory format. Or, as I always like to call it, sudden death.
We like to look at the positive.
Right. So that's where you had the 9-9 tie there.
And in roughly 9 minutes, New Westminster is going to host Maple Ridge.
Maple Ridge, right. And I think that game's going to get ugly.
Heck, well, first place implications on that one, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in that 9-9 game, Langley had an 8-5 lead. And they let Nanaimo score the next 3 goals. I mean, so.
Well, you take a look at the Maple Ridge team, and it's a stacked team also. Riley Lowen, Curtis Dixon, Adam Dixon, Mitch Wild.
Oh yeah. For Maple Ridge, yeah. I'm looking at Nanaimo with their 9-9 tie over with Langley. Because you got Doby's on there for Langley. Cole Schaefer, who didn't play a bad game, 1 goal and 2 assists.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's working his way back to getting into the NLL. There was a Garrett Billings sighting too.
Oh yeah.
For Langley, 4 assists in that game. But then also in there you had some fights, 10-minute game. Misconducts on there. Which is normal for Langley.
Yeah.
But at least on this game sheet, they give you all the referees and everything. Along with the shots on goal.
Yeah, every now and again you get that in so it just depends which arena.
Yeah, but New Westminster, Maple Ridge. That'll be tonight. Just getting underway in a few minutes.
Been underway in about 7 minutes time.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go to the WLA website. I think the games are only like $9-10 to watch. Last time I saw a New Westminster game, their floor is green. It's a wood floor, but you would think there's turf on it.
Yeah, still the same.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you look at it.
And the advantage is most teams when they come in there have to get used to the light glare off of the floor. It's slippery, so they have to get used to that as well as different bounces that the ball will make off the floor as opposed to off concrete or off turf.
Yeah.
And if you remember last year, it took Peterborough a couple of games to get acclimated, and once they didn't lose.
No, they didn't. It was kind of like New Westminster trying to get used to their own floor.
Pretty much, yeah.
now you look at, we go over to the MLL, and that is just, it is completely turned upside down right now. Teams that were not in the playoffs last year are the ones leading the pack right now. You got the Rattlers, the Dallas Rattlers, sitting at 7-2. Then you have Chesapeake at 6-2. The Charlotte Hounds at 6-3. Denver 5-4. Then from that point on, you got the New York Lizards at 4-4. The Atlanta Blaze at 3-5. Florida's at 3-6. And then Ohio and Boston are the final two teams, both at 2-6. I didn't expect this from Ohio. Boston, I knew they have some rebuilding to do.
Yeah.
But Ohio is definitely struggling. They're the only team that's left that hasn't won a game on the road.
They're a really good team, but they're missing a bunch of players too from before.
Yeah, and if they don't get them back, it could be a long season.
For them there, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're basically halfway through the season right now. Yeah, you got 3, 6, you got 9 teams, so you play 16 games. So some of these teams are already, back. Boston, Ohio are 2.5 back out of the final playoff spot. Chesapeake and Dallas seem to be the two, front runners right there. But then you got, Charlotte and Denver. And I'm going to try. Well, I'm going to the July 7th game for Chesapeake. Let me see who they're playing. I had it down in my head who they were playing that game. Okay, they're playing New York that night on Saturday the 7th, but then they're playing Charlotte on the 21st, which is going to be kind of interesting because July 21st is the final day of the World Championships down in Israel. So no doubt that players such as Kevin Crowley, who plays for Charlotte, will not be at that game. So that could be somewhat of an advantage for Chesapeake. Then again, they might not have certain players because they may be playing for their country. So who knows what you're going to see with that going on. For Chesapeake, that's the only game that they're going to be missing because they go from the 7th to the 21st for that. But they have a 3-game homestand coming up: Boston, New York, and then Charlotte. And then they have their big game is going to be Denver on the 28th, and that's at home. So they're coming off. They beat Atlanta 9-6. They beat Ohio 15-12. Looks like they only played. Why don't we see them playing Dallas one time? Because they lost to Dallas in the opener 15-9. Yeah, they only played them once. Okay. Which is kind of crazy, but. So you got things going on in the outdoor, the MSL, the WLA. Guy, I don't know what is your schedule like for next week going to these MSL games?
Looking at it, I believe I will be in Brooklyn on Wednesday, the 27th. I will be in Brampton on Thursday, the 28th. That's the 2 games I will be seeing this week. I won't be in Six Nations, and I won't be in Peterborough, obviously.
So you're going to be at the Peterborough-Brooklyn game on the 28th? Or the 27th?
Yeah, on the 27th. Yeah, I'll be at the Six Nations Brampton game on the 28th.
Two big games right there. Oof.
Yeah, because Brampton's record isn't indicative of the team that they are. There's a lot more heart and a lot more that they have to show. Also, remember, the Dawsons aren't in there yet.
No.
So right now, their main scoring punch is Phil Caputo. Bennett Drake hasn't really gone on track this year, so hopefully he will. But they still have a pretty good team. They're just on the wrong end of awful close games most of the time. Both Peterborough games have been close, and both Peterborough won, obviously. But a little bit of luck, one way or the other. A couple of the veterans in there, and it could be a whole different aspect. Wayne Van Every's had a good start to this year as well. Tyler Ferreira, he's been lighting it up left, right, and center. One of the guys who was a pleasant surprise that I think is Derek Downs. I didn't expect this from him, and 7 games is 7 goals, 4 assists, and he's done very well. Bennett Drake, he's only played 4 games, but he does have 7 goals. So, he scores in bunches.
Yeah.
What's surprising me, and I don't know if he's going to get more of a look in the draft or anything, because I started seeing that last year too, is their goalie, Nolan Clayton. He sees an awful lot of rubber, I'm telling you. He sees an awful lot of rubber. And he's a solid goaltender.
Right.
He's a good positional goaltender. There's moments where he's just not there. That happened Monday. He was just, it was just a flurry. And but overall, the win against Six Nations, I would say a good part of it had to do with his goaltending. He just stood on his head, and he kept his team in there, as a good goaltender usually does.
Right.
I don't know much about their backup, Scott Gomer, but he's played almost a period, and it's solid backup goalie, I guess.
Yeah, Scotty's okay. I watched him play a little bit before. Yeah, he's the type that needs to get more and more playing time.
Yeah. So
that's what he needs.
They have a decent team. I wouldn't say it's a championship team by any stretch, but they have a decent team. But the record isn't indicative of how they play, and Coburg's record is not indicative of how they play.
How they're playing now.
Because recently they got their team back, and if you take a look, you got Kyle Killen, Chris Kluche. I expect him to go very high in this draft. You got Joey Capito, who I expect him to be Transition Player of the Year. Luke Laskowitz, we've already talked about, and I say he does nothing but impress me. So I'm hoping he gets a crack to be on a regular lineup this year, because he won't disappoint.
Yeah.
Dan Lomas, he's only played a couple of games for them. Again, we talked about Kevin Orlman and in net, and it's his time to shine. As a defenseman, Steph Charbonneau, he's one of the dudes who really can change a game around, because transitionally, I think he's had 4 goals so far this year transitionally. So, he's worth watching as well. Looking further, there's Daryl Robertson, as I was talking about earlier. You have David DeRuscio as the backup goalie in there, which is interesting. He has played a couple of games, but he's been pulled off those games.
Right. Yeah, and this
everyone's ailing him at Buffalo is still ailing him.
Yeah, and this is his time to kind of.
This would be the time to try and win your job back.
Right.
And get back on you. But we'll see how that works.
Well, we don't know even if he is being protected by them.
Yep.
Because those rosters have already been, submitted, so he may be auditioning for Philadelphia or San Diego to pick him up.
Or not, as the case may be.
Right. So, like I said,
the ones I expect to see moving out of there, Chris Kluche, Kyle Killen, those are both absolute studs. Absolute studs. So, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, when the actual draft happens, that's.
But like I say, this is another team that their record isn't indicative of how they play. I'd say this is probably one of the better years of MSL where it's a more evenly matched thing. Even though Peterborough and Oakville are at 5-1 and 6-1, they're not winning these games as in years past where you see a lot of these 20-6 scores. There's only a couple of these blowout games. Most of these games are within a goal or two. If you take a look up and down the score sheet, they're not, you had Brooklyn 11-10 over Brampton.
Right.
You had 8-7 over Six Nations. You had Oakville 8-7 over Peterborough. Peterborough 10-8 over Brampton. Tonight, Peterborough 14-12 over Brampton. It's a big blowout. Brooklyn 9-6 over Oakville. That's the only loss that Oakville's taken, was one to Brooklyn. And it's an interesting thing that now Brooklyn's struggling.
Yeah.
So everybody has their time in the sun, it seems.
Right. Yeah.
Now you take a look again. Peterborough's always been blessed with very stacked teams, and this year is no exception. This is an NL All-Star team by every stretch of the imagination. When you can sit there with Corey Small, Sean Evans, Kyle Buchanan, Turner Evans, Holden Katoni, Mark Stainhouse, Chad Tutton, Robert Hope. It goes on and on. Bryce Sweeting, Andrew Suter.
Yeah.
Nick Withers. Josh Courier, Zach Courier. It keeps going.
Yeah.
Adam Jones hasn't played yet for them, but he's on the team. Corey Vitarelli hasn't played yet, but he's on the team. Ian Lord, Matt Vince hasn't played yet. Evan Kirk hasn't played yet. So far, you had Doug Buchan doing all the goaltending, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. He's got a 6.52 goals against average. He's only let in 39 goals in 6 games. And a 5-1 record. So, the other guys can take the summer off at this stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I say they have a stacked NL All-Star team, I'm not kidding.
And you would think that they would be running away with it, but it's everything's kind of even in the MSL this year. And I'm looking down at the schedule, and I know this is like really jumping far ahead, but there's 2 big games at the very end of the year. Oakville and Six Nations play at home and home. Yeah.
In the last 2 games of the year, yeah.
Yeah, Monday the 30th.
I might have laughed at that, but right now, that could be a very big pivotal thing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The game on Monday is in Six Nations, so it's not, Oakville will not be home that Monday. But it's
odd. Yeah, it's very odd, because usually Oakville has Monday night home games. So.
Right. But this Monday...
That being said, make plans for Tuesday.
Yeah. For the return match. So, Six Nations doesn't really have it, that much easier, because prior to that...
Well, a week earlier, they're playing Peterborough. Right, at home.
Right. No, on the road, Six Nations is at Peterborough. Yeah.
You'll see where it all winds up. But, again, when you're talking about a 16 league, these teams are going to play each other quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's like Six Nations, they got a home and home with Peterborough, and then they go a home and home with Oakville.
But just to bolster my point of what a team they have, and it's kind of weird that they went 1-4 to start this season. You've got Dane Smith, Randy Stotts, Jordan Durston, Cody Jamieson, Craig Point, Quinn Powless, Eric Fennell, Kyle Jackson, Tyson Bombery, Brandon Bombery, Tyson Bell, technically John Tavares, who is a coach, but he's played 1 game for them.
Right.
Ian McKay, Ethan O'Connor, David Brock's on there. Kessler Doolittle's on there. You remember him?
Yes.
From Minto fame.
Yes.
My 130-something thousand hits on that beautiful video.
Yes.
Great fight. Jesse Campbell is technically on this one, and he actually played a game. So, Rock fans, that's always a hopeful thing. Because if he's going to play in the summer, maybe he'll want to play in the winter again.
Play in the winter, right. I mean, yeah. And some of these guys will probably most likely be playing, some of them probably be playing for Team Canada in the Worlds coming up. So, yeah.
Yep. So you're going to see interesting dynamics in teams when they're away during this tournament and how they're going to handle the schedules and who they're going to get to fill in.
Yeah, because you're looking at from the 12th to the 21st, Thursday the 12th, Brooklyn's at Brampton. So, Mark Matthews will not be with that game. The 16th, Brooklyn Oakville. Then Brooklyn is at home against Peterborough on the 18th. And
the schedule doesn't work for Brooklyn on this one because they didn't play very many games to start with, whereas Brampton played a lot of games at the start.
Right.
During this little session here, even though I don't think they're losing anybody, they're not really playing during this thing, which is interesting.
And you could probably even say he'll probably miss the game on the 22nd when Brooklyn's at Coburg.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, Brooklyn don't play again till July 25th. So.
Right. At this point, we're down to the last week of the season.
Right. So
a bunch of things are set.
Yeah. So Mark Matthews, Ben McIntosh, they're going to be missing. What was that? Like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Right in the big part of the schedule here. I mean, you're looking at Brooklyn Coburg, Brooklyn Peterborough, Brooklyn Oakville, Brooklyn Brampton. I mean, come on, the 11th, they're probably going to miss that game because they're probably on their way to Israel, where they're home against Coburg. So, before that, their last game will be July 5th against Peterborough. So they'll have about six days to recoup before they start playing in the Worlds. So right in the heart of it all. So the like they like to say, Gar, the landscaping is going to change.
Not a shall be. Not a doubt.
When this gets over, when the Worlds get over, we could have, just for the sake of argument, you have every single team within 3 points of each other.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you see the X's next to other players, showing they're on the roster but they haven't played. Well, this could be the time that they step in and they do play. So who knows? Maybe they'll catapult their team from the basement to the penthouse.
Could very well.
So that's kind of something you have to really look at, and that's going to be going all through the lacrosse world, and with the MSL, the WLA, the MLL, all that's going to be happening. So there's going to be players that are going to be missing. I mentioned Kevin Crowley playing for Charlotte. He's going to miss that game against Chesapeake, which would be, is a very big game because right now Charlotte's in third place, Chesapeake's in second. And they're only separated by, I believe, a game or a half a game. So, we've got to see who's going to be missing from Chesapeake, who's going to be missing from Denver, and so, the whole thing's going to be turned upside down all over. So it should be kind of interesting by the time that gets, done and over with, and we start, coming to the last week of the season in a lot of these, leagues that are going on. The Can-Am League, it kind of is what it is. We mentioned, our buddy Bill.
Yeah.
Him having his podcast with Chrome and Curtis. It's something you really need to tune into. But those players, they don't get paid in that league, which I kind of find that kind of strange in a way, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they are playing for the love of it, that, right?
Yeah, and that's what we always, we've always said about, doing that, about, you play for the love of the sport. And when you look, you don't see any of these, players, getting paid, a single dime for, for any of it. And I don't know, I can understand it, but I mean, the other leagues, they get paid for it, and this, unfortunately, they don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched some of the highlights on it, and some of the hits on it have been kind of brutal. And you're looking at it right now. A lot of these teams have played as many as 13 games, and right now, you got the Tuscarora Tomahawks are 10-0 right now. They're undefeated. Allegheny Arrows are 9-2. The Redhawks, the Onondaga Redhawks, are sitting at 8-2, and they play Tuscarora on Saturday before they return home and play. Who they playing on? Or they playing Tuscarora on Sunday. But they have two big games coming up this weekend. They have. But you're looking at some of these teams here, and like I said, Redhawks are 8-2. The Golden Eagles are 6-6. Native Sons 5-7. The Tonawanda Braves 4-7. The Rochester River Monsters are 3-8. And in last place, the Buffalo Creek Thunder are 0-13. And Gary, the goal differential here, 54 goals for them in 13 games, 210 against. Yeah. So you're looking at what? Not even 5 goals a game. You're looking at 4 goals scored a game, and letting up 116 a game. So they're losing. Right. So they're losing an average of 16-4 in their games. I mean, that's and you look at Tuscarora, they've scored 160 and let up 65. So they're winning their games like 16-6, 16-7. But like I said, don't discount the Redhawks. 137 goals for, 92 against. And penalty minutes are the big thing here with these teams, Gary.
Yeah.
The Golden Eagles 340, Braves 292, Redhawks 252. The lowest ones are the Native Sons with 164.
They're the well-behaved team.
Yeah, with 164 penalty minutes. So not too well behaved. But yeah, they play all across New York. So if you're out there, go and see some of them, especially the ones in Onondaga. In Syracuse on the reservation. You really get a feel for the game there. It's on the native reservation there, and they have 2 beautiful arenas as well. So, and who knows? You might run into Big Bill O'Brien out there. But that's what you have for the Can-Am. Went over everything else. Gary, I'm hoping we get to see the other rosters for the other country teams, just to kind of take a look at them to see what team or what country, if any, would be able to compete with Canada and or the United States right now. Because right now, I don't think anybody is going to come close to Team Canada.
I don't either, but you know what? It's going to be curious to see what they have to try and put against them. Like we said, it's they got 3 weeks to get everything kind of in order. Right now, it's everything just went through on the 20th, so now it's the stacked coaching staff saying, okay, let's pair these people up, pair these guys up. Let's get out on the field. Let's go. Let's get on the plane. Let's go. We'll figure everything out as the game goes along. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I think what's going to happen is we're going to sit back, we're going to watch their first couple games, and we're going to kind of go, looks like they've been practicing for 3-4 years. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't expect them to really be missing a lot of steps here because in the early part of the show we went over the roster. You have some players that have played together, whether it be in the NLL or the MLL. Then like I said before, you got the Noble brothers; they're brothers, so it's.
Yeah.
So I think everything's going to go nice and smooth. I'm curious to see how Israel carries it, and kudos to them for being able to host this tournament. So hopefully there's a good showing by them as well, just like they did in 2015 in the World Indoors. They came in fourth. They lost to Team USA for the bronze medal, but who knows? World Outdoor Games, totally different. Who knows what you'll see happen there? 2014, Kevin Crowley got the most valuable player for that tournament. So we'll see what happens. What happens this year, 2018. But that'll do it for now. Hopefully we get some more information coming across with the NLL with Vancouver, what they're going to do as far as maybe looks like they're going to rename the team. If they're going to pick themselves, if they're going to have named the team contest, and see if anything else comes out as far as teams moving or what have you. I mean, who knows? For all we know, Georgia could be moving next week.
Wouldn't that be something, eh?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Vancouver moving, and here they go. They're moving to the Rogers Center. They're downtown Vancouver, and they got the backing of the NHL team, the Vancouver Canucks, and now it's just let's name the team, let's get season ticket holders in there, let's build this team, and let's get everything going. And hopefully, certain players that didn't want to be there, maybe they'll change their mind and they'll stay there, or maybe there'll be some players that may want to go there now.
Very possible. Anything's possible now.
Because now they're in the I'll say the big city. They're there now. They're in an arena. They're going to be in an arena where they can get
one of Canada's most expensive cities. So enjoy.
Yeah, where they can get more than 5,000 people.
That too.
In there. So congratulations to the Vancouver Canucks again. Denise Watkins did a great job doing what she did with the Vancouver team. Bring them up to Langley and doing the best that she could with that team up there. But now, like I said, the NLL is a different route with the backings of the NHL, the NBA teams. And this is only the beginning, Gary. Only the beginning. With the two teams coming in next year, and then
we'll see what they're going to do for the next one after that.
Next one, yeah. See if Edmonton's going to come back into play, or if Mark Cuban gets the nod and gets a team in Dallas, or who knows, Halifax or Brooklyn, anywhere. Anything can happen. I just hope, like I said before, that it's not rushed, where the league ends up getting watered down.
I don't think it will be. I think they learned their lessons from before.
Yeah. I don't want to see teams, come in for 1 year and leave like the Charlotte Cobras did back in the early days. They went 0-10 and they folded after the first year. But I think there's enough talent out there that it won't be watered down. Because we've seen what some of the players were that were released from these other teams, and we know you can get, you can make two more franchises with no problem. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So, again, thanks for tuning in. Another show in the books. Again, next week as it gets closer to the protection list that comes out, hopefully there'll be some more information. Go to wingslax.com. You can start ordering your jerseys. If you want a replica jersey, it's only $99 without anything on it. The customized ones are $129. You get number, name, all stitched and embroidered. The logo is embroidered on the front. It is not a silk screen. So that's $129. Go to wingslax.com for that. Go to all the teams' sites for their things. But we're trying to get the Wings stuff going. San Diego Seals starting to have their stuff online. So their marketing department is working really hard at that as well. And one last thing before we go. Good friend of mine, Gary, assistant coach to the Drexel Dragons, Team USA goalie and Team USA goalie hopeful for the upcoming World Indoors, Chris Collins, announced that him and his wife are expecting their first child.
Very nice.
So congratulations to Chris and his wife. I saw that tonight while I was making dinner. So the picture up on his Twitter account. He's glowing from ear to ear, and I really couldn't be happier for him. So looks like we're gonna have another lacrosse baby in the family coming. in our big lacrosse family, as we call it.
Yeah.
So until next week, everybody, stay safe. If you're in the areas up in Canada to see Peterborough, Brampton, Brooklyn, Coburg, Six Nations, go to the games. As Gary said, they're only a matter of like $10, and you see some fantastic lacrosse. You really, really do. Same thing out on the West, in the Western Lacrosse Association. From Langley to New Westminster to Victoria to Nanaimo, Maple Ridge, Burnaby. Same thing there. Or you want to watch it online, go to WLA website, and there's a list of games that you could watch. They have packages, and I'm pretty sure it's the same way on the MSL website as well, to tune in and watch some games on the pay-per-view. So you want your lacrosse fix, there you go. So until next week, for Gary Group at laxphilly.com, I'm Rocco Granado at lacrossewetrust.com. We'll see everybody here again next week.